Cover two.
Hey guys, welcome to the Cover 2 Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm here with my man Houman. How's it going today?
Hey, Will, it's going really well. I am a little extra excited for this podcast. And if you're listening, maybe you noticed that we both have a little extra pep in our voices because we are doing a mock draft today. Yes, it is only April, and we are months away from the fantasy football season starting, but it's never too early, especially when we got the NFL draft coming to do a pre-draft mock draft to get a good baseline of where these players' ADPs are before the actual NFL draft takes place.
I fully agree. We're going to do 12 teams. All right, so a 12-team league where myself and Houman will draft our two spots with 10 computer picks. There's 14 rounds, and we'll have 5 people on the bench. Anything you want to add, Houman, about that?
No, please keep in mind, just make sure you understand what kind of league you're in or what kind of leagues you're getting into, whether they're half PPR, full PPR, standard leagues. Scoring for quarterbacks, right? Standard scoring or advanced scoring. Those are the different things that will really affect your mock drafts or even your drafting when you get to that point in the season.
Well, I don't want to wait any longer. Let's get it started.
So, Will, did we tell everyone where we are picking?
No, not yet. Let's go to the screen and you can tell us.
Okay, so I've taken the honor of having the 6th pick. Will is going to go ahead and pick from the 9th spot, and this is a traditional snake draft. So what we're going to do for you guys here is kind of give you an idea of where, if you were picking in these spots that aren't in the top half of the draft, what you could be ending up with and what are some viable options in these locations. Will, how do you feel about drafting in the 9th spot?
Well, yeah, that's difficult because, sometimes for some players, you're not going to get the best running back. So you're trying to look at what is the best available. And sometimes it could be a wide receiver. I'm not going to tell my draft strategy right now.
No. We're not talking draft strategy because we're drafting against each other, and I'm going to beat you.
Oh, well, we will see, sir. I'm at least going to get a pick coming back. So I'm hoping to get at least one running back, maybe even 2. Let's see.
All right, so we've had our first 5 picks, and Will, if you can give me a little stop on the clock there with our first pick.
Sure.
So we can talk about what's happened here as it's come to me. Dalvin Cook going number 1, which I think both you and I probably would have expected. Just with CMC's injury history, he goes second. Then you've got Zeke off the board. Then you've got Alvin Kamara. And what's surprising to me is having Devontae Adams go pretty early there. A little surprising for me. And now I'm looking here, and I'm definitely looking at running back here.
No. You are?
Yeah, of course I am. Of course I am. And I think my running back pick might surprise you a little bit, and it might actually leave the guy for you that I think that you're wanting to get.
Okay.
But I'm going with – oh, you can go ahead and start the draft back up.
Okay.
Now I'm taking Saquon.
Well, that's the guy I wanted. So.
And your guy Derrick Henry went right before you. So what do you got here, Will?
Well, see, the funny part was I didn't think that Derrick Henry would have any shot coming to me. So I was thinking that I was going to take Nick Chubb. And then, of course, Nick Chubb went bye. So, it's hard.
Watch your clock.
I am watching. I'm watching. I think I'm going to pause it for a second because I want to really make sure that I'm right on this pick. I think for everyone here, you don't want to get stuck. You say to yourself, where are the running backs at? Who should I take? I think sometimes you have to go down the board and not try to go after those hot pieces like the Tyreek Hills of the world, the DeAndre Hopkins, and get a wide receiver, or even Travis Kelce at tight end. I'm going to go down the board a little bit, and I know that you are a big fan of Jonathan Taylor, sir, but I am actually going to take Cam Akers with my pick. I'm going to resume it. I'm going to pick him. That's who I'm going with.
That's a good pick. I think he would have been there whenever it came back around to you.
Possibly.
We'll see. We'll see. There goes Jonathan Taylor. So you could have maybe had the Jonathan Taylor and Cam Akers if you went with Taylor there.
It's true. It's true. It's possible. Well, now I have my pick at another running back, which.
So since you last picked, we had, and I'll let you think here about your pick, and I'll talk about what happened. We had Jonathan Taylor go, Tyreek Hill go, DeAndre Hopkins go, Josh Jacobs go. We had our first tight end go, Travis Kelce, with that second pick, the 202. And then Joe Mixon. Now we're on you, Will.
Yeah, see, I know that you are a big Jonathan Taylor fan, so I'm okay with not getting Jonathan Taylor here. Obviously,
are you okay not getting Jonathan Taylor and Cam Akers?
Well, of course not, but I'm pretty sure that Cam Akers would have been gone either way.
I got a feeling he would have been there.
Well, it's a possibility. I'm going to go running back again. I'm going to get that guy that's been on, that offense is just getting better and better, and I'm going to take Antonio Gibson. That's who I'm going to take.
That pick. I like that pick a lot.
And let's see what happens after that goes. And see who gets to you, Mr. Houman.
Well, two of my guys that I was looking at both evaporated right in front of me. I was hoping either Miles Sanders or Aaron Jones would both drop to me, and they both just vanished. So I'm tilted. Now, this is what a tilt is right here. When you're ready to jump on something to make a pick, and then all of a sudden the floor just falls out from underneath you. So I'm good, Will. We can go ahead and start this up.
Sure.
This pick is going to be a little worrisome for me, but I'm going to bank on the fact that this player is going to stay healthy and just be the guy in this town. And oh boy, I'm worried because I feel like I could probably get him on the turn. I'm going with Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Okay.
I feel like he's going to be the guy going forward. And right after me, we got DK Metcalf, James Robinson. There goes Patrick Mahomes in the second round. DeAndre Swift, Stephon Diggs, Michael Thomas, J.K. Dobbins, Austin Eckler. And I was hoping Eckler would fall back to me in the third round, but he didn't. Godwin, and then A.J. Brown. So I'm sitting here now in this position here. So if you can give it a little pause. I've got my two running backs. I'm looking at the wide receivers that are evaporating pretty early here, too, and that's a little worrisome for me. So I'm in a position here where I'm not going to pick again for a while, and I may need to take a wide receiver here, but there's a running back on the board that I know will not make it back to me, and I want this player badly, and I'm so excited that he's here at the third pick. In the third round for me, and I'm going ahead with David Montgomery. I'm really excited about his ability in the backfield and just the workload he's going to have, the opportunities he's going to have this year as the guy in Chicago.
I like it. I like that pick. I agree with you that you might not be able to get around for another star running back. And so I was thinking running back here at this pick, but I'm not going to. I'm looking, of course, at wide receiver. And a guy that's still there right now is got a teammate in Andrew Thielen that is, really good and could take some of his catches away. But I'm going to go with Mr. Justin Jefferson. That's what I'm going to take here. Let me make sure to start our draft, and here he comes.
I think you're reading my draft notes here, Will, because I was hoping Jefferson. I didn't think he was going to get back to me, but I was hoping. I'm surprised that Thielen went before him, and I'm surprised Lamar going in the third round. And
okay.
You're back up, Will. So now we had two other running backs go with Carson and Drake. Two other receivers go in Evans and Cooper. Lamar, obviously, I mentioned. And then our next tight end and Kittle went.
And I really like this player, but I think I'm going to hold off and let him come back around. I'm not going to say his name right now because I don't want you to snipe him. So I really am a big fan of Kenny Golladay. I don't like him in this new team, so I'm going to wait on him on this current pick. But the guy I'm going to go and get is somebody that is on the team that you have, and that is Mr. Allen Robinson.
Yeah, I like that pick. I think he's going to be, depending on whatever the quarterback situation is there, with whether it's Dalton or Foles, I think, there goes Ridley. Damn it.
I was between those two, Ridley
Yeah,
and
and I'm
Robinson.
happy because my guy is still here, and I'm putting this pick in quick because I've been eyeballing Keenan Allen, so I'm happy that I got him. And there goes Kenny Galladay. So you're not going to get your wishes there.
No, Cooper Cup. That was another one I was thinking about. James
All right, so
Conner.
let's pause
Wow.
this. Let's catch people up on what's happened here. So after you took Robinson, we had Ridley go, then Mark Andrews. I took Keenan Allen. Then after me, we had a third quarterback going, Russell Wilson. Surprising. I can't believe Russell Wilson's got a fourth round ADP on him here. Then we had Kenny Galladay. Another shocker here is Todd Gurley going. Then Robert Woods, Juju Smith-Schuster is another one's pretty questionable to me. Cooper Kupp. This is the start of the the fifth round here. Then we had Melvin Gordon go. A lot of people are sleeping on Melvin Gordon. I think he's gonna have a pretty good year. DJ Moore, I think, is a good pickup here in that third spot of the fifth round. And then we had James Conner and Leonard Fournette, and it is now back to me. And you can go ahead and hit the button there, Will,
Sure.
to restart. And I'm striking while the iron's hot because I know this player is not getting back to me, and I'm taking the tight end here, Darren Waller.
That was the guy I was going to take. I said, you know what? I'm thinking about it. I think he'll maybe fall back to me.
No, we had talked about in our tight end episode, we talked about there is a tier of tight ends, and then it is just hot trash after that.
Yes.
So I'm taking the guy that's getting that volume in Darren Waller there.
Yes. Oh, thank you. So, the two picks that I was thinking was Mr. Darren Waller and Mr. Tyler Lockett. Obviously, that didn't happen.
And hey, this is a fair representation of what we experience in drafts and what the full tilt feels like whenever you lose your guy.
So let me look at what's available, and I'll just talk about it with everybody. So, we have Josh Allen, great quarterback. That's a great, strong possibility.
I think that would have been a fair. I think Josh Allen should be getting drafted higher than Kyler Murray or Russell Wilson. So I think here you're getting great value for him in the fifth spot if you take him.
I am. I was also thinking to get my third running back, or maybe
You need that. You do need that because you're sitting only with two guys right now.
maybe get a Kareem Hunt or David Johnson or something like that. I'm not a big fan of either of them. I really like Scary Terry McLaurin over in Washington. So I'm kind of torn here with this pick. And usually I think I would take running back. But I think looking at the board, the person after me has 3 running backs.
Mm-hmm.
The next person has 1 and then 1.
You're going to lose a couple running backs here.
It's very strong possibility, but I don't like the 2 that are there, and I think they might go. That's what I'm hoping for. So I think that I don't want to lose the opportunity, as you said, to lose Josh Allen. So I think that's where I'm going to go.
Yeah, and I think he would have gone on the turn before you could have gotten him.
There he goes.
There goes Hunt, and there goes Johnson. There went Rodgers and Watson. Wow, Watson. Okay, and Lev Bell. So I think the settings on
excited
this AI
now that I did that.
Off here.
Excited that I did that because I can now get McLaurin and wait for another running back. I know that that's kind of scary. I'm looking at running backs real quick before I make this pick.
I mean, there's a couple running backs on here that are worth the look, but if you see your guy, you get your guy.
I'll pause it. Hold on. Now I gotta think about this because this could be a make or break pick for me in my draft because
This could be because you are sitting with only 2 running backs after 5 full rounds, and if you go 6 full rounds, that turn that you got to wait is a big turn.
So I could combo it up. I take Singletary with Allen. That's a possibility, but Allen takes a lot of his touches, especially on the red zone. So I'm not sure about that one. Myles Gaskin in Miami, so many running backs there that I don't even know who's going to start.
Yeah, he was clearly the guy.
He was last year. They did bring in the guy from San Francisco. I lost my head for a second here, but they did bring him in.
They got Breida, but it's still no, not Breida. I'm sorry.
No, I think you're right.
But Gaskin was still. I mean, he was the clear favorite there.
it's a tough one. It's a tough one, but I want to make my pick. And I know that McLaren's not going to come back to me. That would give me 3 huge wide receivers, and I can probably get that running back at the end. And I know that's very scary for a lot of fantasy people to just wait for it, but I like going for wide receivers earlier. I obviously want to get your running backs. Once you get your running backs, then you want to probably get your wide receivers and so on. So I'm just going to take Mr. Terry and go from there. Did he not get selected? Looks like he didn't. Let me take him again. Come on, Mr. Terry. There he is. Mine. All right.
There go the 2 running backs you were actually thinking about.
Was.
I'm in a spot here because I'm torn because I definitely need to get back in that wide receiver well. I at least don't have to worry about tight end later. I do probably need to get my feet into the wide receiver pool a little bit deeper. There's a lot of options here that I could go with. I think, oh man, this is going to be a tough choice for me. All right, Will, if you can talk about the players that have been drafted here for a second.
Sure. So, we've got Levon Bell, sorry. Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, we talked about. With Myles Gaskin, we said it earlier. It's a possibility that, it could be a running back committee. Singletary, too. So, getting that star back, and now with them bringing in some people over in Arizona, just lost my mind on that. But I think that all the running backs by committees you need to stay away from as we go forward. That secondary running back could hurt you in the long run.
Yeah, totally agree with you there. I think that's one of the things that I'm trying to kind of look at to avoid right now is that situation. And that's why I don't know if I can have too many running backs because there are a couple that I'm eyeballing that I really kind of like sitting here that are still here. And I am probably going to pull the trigger on this, even though that there were some recent developments that things could change here. But I like Raheem Mostert. I think that and I would have lost him, he definitely would not have made it back to me.
Definitely not.
I like him here because he is going to be the guy in San Francisco going forward. I would have definitely lost him because we had Ingram and James White go. Mm-hmm. We had our next quarterback in Dak Prescott go. We had 2 tight ends go in Ertz and Gronk. Then we had a run on wide receivers with Hilton Brown, Chark, Cortland Sutton, Jarvis Landry. So a lot of the wide receivers are starting to evaporate here. So I might end up paying the cost here for having drafted or done what I did as far as taking another running back there. What do you think about what just transpired, Will?
So it's interesting because obviously you can't get running backs for nothing. So I think that Raheem Mostert there was a great pick. I think Dak. I would have taken Dak before I would have taken some of the other quarterbacks before him. Like I think Aaron Rodgers, we talked about it, could have a good year, but he usually has an every other year. And you don't know what Deshaun Watson's going to do. And so, Dak, I think, should have been higher. I'm surprised about the Gronk and Ertz. Obviously, you're not a fan of Ertz this season.
No, not at all.
To see them go, and I was between, and my last pick between McLaren and James White. And I just felt like, again, taking a guy that is more of a pass-catching running back and does run between the tackles every once in a while was kind of a risk with this new offense that they've got going on.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's fire this back up and let's get going here. So I'm in a spot here where I absolutely have to take a wide receiver. I've only got one drafted. I'm set at my running back position, but I'm going to go wide receiver here. And the one that I'm going to go ahead and pull out of the hat here is the guy that I noticed was the player in Pittsburgh, and that's Deontay Johnson. And then right after that, we had, obviously, Edelman needs to get filtered out of this because he did just retire. And A.J. Green was the next pick after that, which is an interesting one as far as where he landed in Arizona. Is he going to be a productive player there? Can he kind of fill in that role that Larry Fitz did and become, one of the guy that's going to be the second to DeAndre Hopkins. And now you're up, Will.
I am, and so I'm gonna stay away and try to get my running back here, to try to get that all sealed up a little bit, and maybe take one later on as well, just in case, because I do see some people that I like at running back coming up. Matt Breida is. Mike Breida is he in Buffalo? I thought he was in.
Yeah, Buffalo. Yeah,
he's in Buffalo.
Buffalo this year.
And so I like Matt Breida. The only problem with Matt Breida is I, again, have the quarterback. So I do worry about that, having the quarterback, running back problem. I had that last year with Drew Brees. And so it worked for me in that perspective. But the difference between an Alvin Kamara and a Drew Brees is night and day between a Josh Allen.
Absolutely.
So I don't see that being my thing. So I'm just going to look at the top running backs on the board. So right now we have Jordan Howard, who obviously is going to be in a committee. But the guy that's sticking out to me is Mr. Ronald Jones. And so,
okay, as a Bucs fan, I like that pick. It is a little bit of a crowded backfield, but there is plenty to go around in that backfield as far as opportunity. And there you go. There goes Jordan Howard and Matt Breida. And now it looks like we've got to run on wide receivers here, which is a little worrisome.
ooh, CeeDee Lamb going.
Like you're back up now. Now you've got your 3 running backs. And I think you still have some choices here at running back, or maybe dipping your feet into the tight end pool. Because you're pretty much set at wide receiver for a little bit. I think you've got a very strong 3 receivers in Jefferson, Robinson, and McLaurin. That's going to take care of your receiver positions and your flex. So what you gave up in that running back move by taking McLaurin, I think you made up as far as being able to cover it in the flex position. So that gives you a little bit of flexibility here to, maybe take a running back or a tight end.
I agree with you. I'm looking obviously at Marlon Mack at running back. Will him and Jonathan Taylor. He was the star last year. Then he got hurt. So is he going to be back to normal? I'm a big Deebo Samuel fan because he's so interchangeable. He can go and run the ball. He can catch the ball. So he's on my list as well. But I think I'm definitely going tight end, as you said. And this is a guy that we have talked about many times before. I'm just going to pull up his stuff right now. But the Broncos have a star tight end in Noah Fant. And that is who I'm going to take.
I think that's a really good pick. It's one of those next tier tight ends that you had the opportunity to get here, and there goes Hawkinson right after. So that kind of that was a great pick there because he likely would have been gone. I don't think you would have had a chance to get Hawkinson on that next turn there.
Agreed.
So I'm up now, and I'm sitting here I've got my 4 running backs. I've only got my 2 wide receivers, so it's pretty clear to me where I need to go as far as this pick is concerned. So if you can give me a little pause. Oh, you did give me a pause. Nicely done, Will.
No problem.
I am definitely going wide receiver here, and it's a matter of just kind of figuring out what I'm looking for as far as wide receivers go. And this is the player that I'm going to go with. You can go ahead and tee it up there.
Sure.
And I use that pun specifically because I am taking T. Higgins here. If he is healthy, we know that he's Joe Burrow's guy, and with Burrow healthy, I think Higgins is going to have a successful year.
Well, Jerry Jeudy, obviously Drew Brees is still in this mix, which stinks. But Devontae Parker, Brady just went. There goes Mack and Cohen, Boyd, and then of course the last one was Matt Ryan. So, what you're going to do here, Houman? Are you going to try and get a quarterback now, or are you going to wait?
I might wait a little bit. I still see there's still pretty good value at quarterback. I mean, Matthew Stafford is still there. Justin Herbert is still there. I'm gonna wait. I think the teams that have drafted the quarterback, and I can probably have my pick of those quarterbacks in the next round to where I can bypass them. I think that's an important thing to talk about here, is quarterback drafting strategy, where if you're getting one of those elite guys in those first 4 rounds, you better get that value back. We talked about that in our quarterback ranking episode. And I think this is where my strategy specifically is I try to get that value later, and I try to load up on those skill positions that, not only can be used in running back spots or wide receiver spots, or tight end spots, but it can be used in the flex spot too. So I'm loading up on those skill positions and going to try to hold off and gamble. I usually eyeball 3 later round. I'm talking 9th, 10th, 11th round run or quarterbacks that I know that can return some good value for those positions. So in this spot here, I'm taking a look, and it is absolutely criminal that this player hasn't been drafted. And I got to go with it. I got to go with him. And I'm taking lots of youth here at wide receiver, which is maybe somewhat worrisome, but I'm going with Brandon Ayuk. He had a pretty awesome year, and I think he's going to continue to have a great year this coming season with whether it's Jimmy G or, like we've talked about, could be Justin Fields, could be Mac Jones. It could be a new quarterback. I think Brandon Ayuk is going to be a star in this league.
Well, I'm going to take his teammate because I talked about him earlier. I'm going to take Deebo Samuel. You know, he was injured a little bit this year, but I like his value of being somebody that can do it all and run, catch, and, you know, like you said, Jimmy G might be throwing to him. Maybe it could be another quarterback. We'll see what they do in the draft, but I really like Deebo.
I like that pick, man. That was a good pickup there this late in the draft.
I'm glad that he fell. I was worried about it. I was almost rushed to take him earlier. I don't know why. Just was my thought process. So I've got all the positions I need. I've got a quarterback. I've got a tight end. I've got my running backs. I got my wide receivers. So it's now coming to what is the best on the board. Christian Kirk, Emmanuel Sanders. I might try to do a link up there with him and Josh Allen. Sony Michel. That's an interesting pick for a crowded backfield as well. I don't like Latavius Murray, and I don't think about risking right now on Alexander Mattison, even though Cook has been injured a lot in his past. But I think that I am going to go Sony Michel in New England. I think that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go running back again. What do you think about that?
I think it's a good pick there in that spot. You needed some more depth at running back, and it's going to be hit or miss with Sony Michel. Like, oh wow, kicker. What? I guess we're going to have to tweak the settings on this for the next time we do a mock draft and make sure some of these picks aren't going off the way they are. So if you can give me a little pause here, Will,
sure.
So I can take a look really quick. I've got good depth at running back. I've got 4 pretty solid receivers. I probably need to start thinking about quarterback soon. I need to maybe see if I can add a little depth at wide receiver. So if I'm taking a look here, the receivers I'm looking at right now on my board, there's one that's sticking out to me that all of them have some question marks that I have on my board. And I'm going to go with the one that probably has the most solid potential going forward. And if you can go ahead and unpause this here. The way this player was used in Matt Rule's offense really made me kind of happy. And the fact that he's here, I got to take him. That's Robbie Anderson. Ooh. He had a really standout year. I think it gives me a good option at wide receiver and gives me some serious depth there.
Another kicker went. 2 kickers. Jeez. So Christian Kirk goes. Gesicki, Alexander Mattison.
Oh boy!
So that's a tough one with Madison going. Probably we were thinking about that, weren't you?
No, I actually have someone teed up here, and you can go ahead and unpause it because I'm ready to go. And I cannot believe this player has dropped this far, despite the news of James Conner signing. I am taking Chase Edmonds because he's getting half that pie there at worst. If not, I think he's going to be getting 75% of the load in Arizona. He's a steal this late in the draft.
That I agree. I'm upset with myself for not seeing that now.
Yeah, I've been trying to stay hushed on it for a couple rounds here. I just couldn't validate taking another running back that early with having 4 already. But now I've got 5 starting running backs, and I'm beside myself.
I don't like you. How about that? I'll just say that.
Will, I told you, I am coming to win today.
You definitely are. You definitely are. So I don't like a lot of the picks that are left. I can tell you that. I might go tight end again just because it seems like a waste of a pick. Let me look at some running backs. Why
Well,
don't
I
you?
mean, Noah Fant has been injury prone. There is a little bit of talent. I mean, Tony Pollard's sitting there. The fact that he hasn't been gobbled up yet is that's kind of crazy. That if you can get Tony Pollard here in the 11th round, I think that would add some serious depth to the lineup you have, especially with that Sony Michel pick in the last one. And you had Ronald Jones early. Those are some split or some crowded backfields or uncertainty.
Well,
Tony Pollard, we know he gets a certain amount of touches per game. And if Zeke goes down or it misses any time, you know he is an auto start. So I think here, taking Tony Pollard is a pretty smart choice if that's the direction you're looking for.
well, I found a guy that we have been talking about. I've been talking about, and I almost missed him. But he's a running back, and it's Mr. Mike Davis.
Yeah, he was on my list. I was hoping he was going to get by to the 13th or 14th round, getting that volume over in Atlanta because of, we know Gurley's not going to be getting too much work there. Now you can get both those guys.
I can. It's a lot of running backs.
It is, but in my opinion, you can never have too many with the uncertainty of injuries. And I mean, I've got Saquon with my number one pick, and if he goes down, which he's been prone to do, I've got good backups there, and that's, I think, an important thing to have.
Well, I think I'm going to go wide receiver here because I like my wide receiver core, but there's a lot of hits and misses with it, I feel like. So I'm feeling another wide receiver in this field. I really like Josh Reynolds' upside in Tennessee. And so because they've lost all their different people other than, of course, A.J. Brown. Mm-hmm. I know they signed a couple other people to compete with them, but I'm going to talk myself into it. You know what? I see something that's here that's a cheat stick, okay? And it's kind of like when we were able to last year have two guys that were roaming in positions. And so I think I'm going to take him because he can play both wide receiver and tight end in this draft, and that is Mr. Robert Tonyan.
Okay. I was eyeballing him to hopefully get him later, and you went ahead and swiped him. So I'm going to just make some standard moves here, and I have to take this player because I cannot believe Justin Herbert is still sitting there. So I'm taking Herbert here in the 12th round and hoping to get some amazing value returned on him. Then we got some run on defenses here, and this is where my draft strategy differs from a lot of people. I am going to go zero kicker, and I'm going to go zero defense and just work the waiver wires for those. I'm taking a look here, and I can't do this draft without taking this guy, so I'm going to go double quarterback here because I talked about him in our quarterback episode, and that's Jalen Hurts, because I feel like he is going to have a strong floor this year.
I gotcha, and I'm 100% in your draft strategy. I usually don't ever take, if I don't have to. You have those different leagues that they're mandated, but if I don't have to, I'm not going to take a defense. I'm probably not even going to take a kicker because kickers sometimes, especially the elite kickers, they're going to go and I can find one week to week. Same thing with my defense. So I'm not really worried about kicker or defense. If we get to the last round and I don't like any of the other picks, maybe I'll go kicker. But I'm going to look again back at some different guys at running back and, of course, wide receiver. Some two interesting picks. I see Perrine from the Jets, and I have Aguilar from New England. Not sure exactly what each of them are going to do, but I cannot get to this point and not take a second quarterback because you never know what could happen, especially Josh Allen. He runs, he goes to everything. So I think I'm going to go with the game manager himself, and I'm going to take Mr. Baker Mayfield.
I think that's a boom-bust pick there. I mean, you had Tannehill on the board, so you could have had the floor with some of the running and the production of Tannehill because he's proved it over 2 years. But I like the Mayfield pick there.
Okay.
Oh, there went Jonnu Smith. I was hoping he was going to make it around to me. And there goes Pollard. I was hoping he was going to make it around. And now you're back up with your last pick here.
So that gives me the opportunity to get the guy, the second guy I wanted, or the guy I was thinking about, which was, where is he at? I just lost him. I had Josh Reynolds. I think I'm going to take the shot because I think Josh Reynolds is going to have a good year, and I'm going to go out and get Josh Reynolds.
Okay, I see your Josh Reynolds, and I raise you a Corey Davis. Change of scenery, moving to the New York Jets with Zach Wilson at the quarterback. I think Corey Davis could be a sneaky pick in drafts this coming year.
Very true, and to tell you the truth, I was between the two. So good pick.
All right, so we got our final rosters here. I'm going to run through mine really quick. I'm going to start at the top, and I went with Saquon, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, David Montgomery, Keenan Allen, Darren Waller, Raheem Mostert, and then I made my run of wide receivers between the 7th and 10th round of Deontay Johnson, T. Higgins, Brandon Ayuk, and Robbie Anderson. And then I was able to steal, I believe the steal of the draft is Chase Edmonds in the 11th, then Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, and then Corey Davis.
I like it. I'll go through mine. I got Cam Akers, Antonio Gibson, Justin Jefferson, Allen Robinson. Got my quarterback a little earlier than I would usually, but he was there. Had to take Josh Allen. Scary Terry, Ronald Jones, Noah Fant, Deebo Samuel, Sony Michel, Mike Davis, Tanya, Baker, and then, of course, Josh Reynolds in my draft.
So if we're taking a look between our two squads here, and we're going to just pick and push here, running backs. I think I've got the advantage here as far as running backs are concerned.
I agree.
I've got five starters on my roster here. Wide receivers, I think that edge is definitely yours. I think you may have the 3 best core receivers out of this entire draft of all the teams that mocked here. I think that goes to you. Would you agree on those two?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I was surprised that Terry McLaurin fell that far. I mean, I just don't see Odell Beckham having that same success that he's had. And so with a new quarterback, a gunslinger, I think that, he's probably my steal at that late in the draft.
Yeah, I think he was a great pick there. Moving on to tight end, you've got more depth. I've got Waller. I think that's a slight advantage to me.
Listen, Waller is the guy because
I mean I don't want to rub it in your face.
I know,
but I think I got you on that.
The only good thing for me is
I think you win the quarterback push here with having Josh Allen. I think I've got the potential for the upside that could be comparable to Josh Allen, but I got it way later. And that was between either Justin Herbert or Jalen Hurts with his running ability this year. So kind of a push, I guess, if we're looking at our two rosters, and we'd have to see how that pans out. But I like the fact that I've got those 5 starting running backs because that gives me 2 starters at running back, and then I can use that flex position with the running back as well.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, for me, it's going to be a tough one if this was my roster, make a decision week to week, because I could start 3 running backs and having Mike Davis be my third, because I think he's going to get the most reps, probably 75% of the carries. That's what I'm foreseeing for this season. Obviously, Akers and Gibsons are my must starts. But do I take that, or do I take the top 3 receivers, which I think is probably the best option for me? But it could be week to week where I have to go between them.
Yeah, especially playing in a full PPR. I think those 3 receivers that you had there with Jefferson, Robinson, and McLaurin are definitely going to be volume hogs where they're getting a lot of the targets. So I think you're in a good shape with those. And remember, this is pre-NFL draft. So once we do another draft after the NFL draft takes place, this is all going to totally change. Once we see where a lot of these rookies end up and what positions and places they end up going to and how that would affect us. But that's, I think, all we've got for our mock this week. Will, you want to take it home from here?
Sure. We thank you guys for listening like always. Make sure that you like and subscribe, and have a wonderful night.
Cover 2. Cover 2.